Sophie Green.
And I'm Hiba Abu Hamida.
It has been confirmed that nationwide 9 children have died from the strep A infection. Data from the UK Health Security Agency reports that there has been an unprecedented number of cases this year.
There are planned disruptions happening over Christmas. We will be hearing your reactions.
Well, because I'm old enough to have been on strikes, and you don't do it because you want to do it, you do it because it affects your family.
And after a couple were filmed dancing in Wharton Shopping Centre and went viral last weekend, Mia Fitton went to speak to the pair.
Everyone was smiling at us and saying, "Oh, look at these two," and they all got their phones out. And we thought, oh, what have we done?
The latest data from the UK Health Security Agency reports that there were 851 cases of strep A, compared to an average of 186 in the previous years, as people start to get worried about the outbreak of this bacterial infection. Emma Watt has more.
I'm here outside of Salford Royal Hospital, where I'm sure, like other hospitals and intensive care units in the UK, there are many worries about the strep A infections that have spiked UK-wide. Invasive group A streptococcus disease is a life-threatening illness and is caused by bacteria getting into parts of the body where it isn't normally found. It is spread by being in close contact with an infected person and causes infections in the skin, the soft tissue and respiratory tract. The death toll has now been confirmed as 9 after a child in Belfast died yesterday from the variation, and the UK Health Security Agency has confirmed that there has been an increase in infections. Health officials have urged parents to look out for symptoms of scarlet fever in their children. These symptoms are similar to a flu, so a high temperature, a sore throat and swollen neck glands. If a child does have scarlet fever, then 12 to 48 hours later a rash will appear on the skin and make their skin feel quite rough and similar to a sandpaper. Parents have also been told to check the child's tongue for a white coating. The UK Health Security Agency are currently working very closely with schools, especially those who have been affected by the disease, to see whether preventative antibiotics should be given to pupils. However, the only worry of this is that if there is an overprescription of antibiotics, it could build up a mass resistance to serious infections in the future. We will be following this story very closely and will be sure to update you if there are any changes.
Now, throughout the last few months, you may have experienced disruption with train services and posts may have been delayed, but now healthcare workers are also taking to the picket line. We're joined with our reporter Liz. So Liz, what can we expect in the coming months?
So we've had 2 major updates today on the striking front. So we are expecting the ambulance workers, more than 10,000 of them, to go on strike on the 21st and 28th of December. Now this is huge. This is around the Christmas period when ambulances are in very high demand, and at the minute they're under a lot of pressure. So they'll be taking to the picket line on those days. Another update we've had is from the rail workers now. We've had rail workers striking a lot this year, and they are going on strike. Probably the biggest one is from 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve till the 27th of December. Now this is going to cause major disruption if people are wanting to travel up and down the country, but hopefully things will start to get resolved by taking that action. Now the next big strike from them will be in January, which is the 3rd till the 7th, which comes afterwards from the new year, so expect disruption either side of that.
So what are the workers wanting from their employees?
So they are wanting both things to do with the cost of living crisis. So the paramedics are wanting to have a rate of a pay wage to meet the rate of inflation. This is going to impact them. This is going to match the rate of inflation for the cost of living crisis. Rail workers are wanting something similar and a guarantee of no compulsory job losses.
And Royal Mail strikes have been huge this year. What can we expect from them?
So they are also going on strike. They'll be striking on the 9th, 11th, 14th, 15th, 23rd and 24th of December.
So what's the reaction from the public?
I certainly do give sympathy. A lot of people deserve more wages, but it's whether the government can afford it and if it's considered a fair amount what they're asking. I think some are asking over the top, being a bit unreasonable.
I totally agree and support with them. I think Mick Lynch is doing a fantastic job representing his members, and I hope the government come to the senses and bring this strike to an end sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Liz. Therapy Dogs Nationwide is a UK-based animal-assisted therapy charity aiming to use dogs to help boost people's mental health. Liam O'Donnell has met with two furry friends from Salford and the Greater Manchester area, as well as their owners, to see the benefits of therapy dogs firsthand.
Meet Maggie and Fly, two therapy dogs who volunteer to help the people of Salford and Greater Manchester's mental and physical health as a part of charity Therapy Dogs Nationwide.
Fly goes into a high school and the charity does something called Pause and Read, which allows children who struggle with reading comfortably and reading out loud in front of their peers, they read to the dog because the dog is very non-judgmental and the dog's not going to worry if you're going to say a word wrong, how you say a word.
Multiple studies have found that the benefits of therapy dogs are fairly endless. They've been found to reduce depression, and with the elderly people, they've been found to lower blood pressure, preventing strokes, and reduce agitation and aggression in children.
My mum and my auntie are both in care homes, so I know that it does really, it benefits them greatly to go and see them. The stories that come from the old people and their faces light up, honestly, it's magical, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is.
And their attraction became clear once customers started to arrive at the Feel Good Club in Manchester, with the dogs quickly becoming the centre of attention.
So we live in Swinton and everybody knows who Fly is based on what he does in the community of Salford and Swinton, and it's just brilliant to go into an establishment and see their faces, like Jill said, just light up knowing that a dog is coming to visit them.
The owners of the Feel Good Club say allowing dogs inside their cafe was a no-brainer.
One, having Juno ourselves and the happiness that she's brought us, there's no way that we wouldn't have let dogs in. But also, who doesn't want to spend a day around dogs because they just make you feel calm and happy?
If any of this has given you pause for thought and you're prepared to volunteer your dog or even require their services, visit Therapy Dogs Nationwide online to get involved with the charity. Liam O'Donnell, Salford Now.
Some of you may have seen a viral video of a couple dancing in Wharton's shopping centre to Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World over the weekend. Mia Fitton joined the couple at their home to get their reaction about their new social media fame.
How many people are moved to dance at a shopping centre?
Have a holly jolly.
The festive spirit got Graham and Linda Fish waltzing in Walkden this weekend after a video of them went viral.
It was the atmosphere, really. It was a lovely atmosphere. There was lots going on. There was music and lots of Christmas songs, which we love. Yeah. And we just heard White Christmas come on, and we just happened to be stood near each other. And we just said, come on, let's do it. And that's how it came about, really. Everyone was smiling at us and saying, oh, look at these two. And they all got their phones out. And we thought, oh, what have we done?
The couple found out about their fame through their daughter finding the video on Facebook. The video currently has over 5,000 views and has brought an overwhelming cheer to Walkden. Their love of dancing predates social media. The couple's fizz started more than 40 years ago at a soft drinks factory.
Been together 42 years, and we met, weirdly, at a Lucozade factory. And it was a time in our lives when we were both going through a bit of a trauma. Mm-hmm. So initially, I wasn't really interested in going out with Graham at all, because, you know, the way things were. Mm-hmm. But obviously he was very persistent. So luckily we managed to get together, and that's why we've been married for 42 years.
Their dancing locations aren't limited to shopping centres.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
They've been dancing on boats, in their living room and in the pub.
we've always danced to slow songs, but then we discovered that we loved Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World, and that became our song.
Believe it or not, every time we used to go out in the car, it did come on the radio.
It's really weird.
It was weird.
It's really weird. Yeah.
It came on the radio and we both got and we started singing it.
It is. It's like
psychic.
Yeah, it is. It's a real nice feeling. Makes us smile.
Yeah. And they'll keep dancing to make it a wonderful world. Mia Fitton, Salford Now.
Oh, how lovely is this? And finally, the Santa Dash has come to Salford. Participants dressed as Santa are running 5K in Peel Park to raise money for kids. Hannah Patterson has the details.
Participants of this year's Santa Dash are kitted out in their red suits in order to raise money for KidScan. Across the UK, only 3.5% of medical research is dedicated to children's cancer. KidScan are dedicated to finding new treatments for children's cancer by finding therapies across the UK that are safe for children and creating a world where children can survive and thrive after cancer without suffering from long-term effects. I'm here with Tony Payne. He is running today. Tony, why did you choose to run today?
Well, it's a great cause and it's a fantastic thing to do. Rather than sitting on your bum during your lunch, go out, get a bit of fresh air and just have a giggle while you're running around.
And why do you think charities like KidScan are so important?
Because if you've got a child and it's really poorly, the more research to try and find a cure for that child, the better, really.
And does it mean anything to you that you guys are raising money today?
It's always good to raise money for charity, regardless of the charity.
Amazing. Thank you so much and well done to all the runners.
Now with the weather getting even colder this week, people are looking at ways to stay warm as energy costs are still extremely high. Lewis James is at the Energized Living Centre with more.
I'm here at the Energized Centre where the heating is on full blast, feeling the chill this winter. Gina, could you tell me a bit more what is going on here today?
Yeah, we're having a Keep Warm Club and this is essentially to help people. Energy prices are going through the roof, so we're just opening up the space to give people a couple of hours where they don't have to turn on their own heating. Offer them a cup of tea. We've got lots of games here and we can signpost people to any organisations where they might need help.
And can anyone come down?
Absolutely anyone come down. It's every Tuesday and Thursday from 3 till 5 and anyone in Salford is welcome.
Amazing. I mean, the average household energy bills are now this year $2,200. Do you have any other recommendations for people struggling who may need to try?
If you've got any draft excluders, so cold air coming in, to not put your heating on all day on low, maybe just put it on for an hour on full blast to heat up the house, turn off any appliances.
Sorry for the technical issues there. Now, continuing with the cost of living, it's such a big topic of conversation at the moment. We have seen how community groups and charities are trying to tackle this and help people stay warm and well fed this winter. But the question on many people's minds is, how can we get the most out of our money this Christmas? Our reporter Grace Clark joins us in the studio now, along with Jake Butler from Save the Student, an organisation that gives free financial advice and budgeting tips to students.
That's right, thanks for joining us, Jake. Could you tell us a little bit more about what Save the Student do?
Yeah, so Save the Student in a nutshell is basically a student money website. So, you know, we've got advice on everything from student bank accounts, how to save on your grocery shopping, including as well as the latest deals and discounts. So, you know, if you're a student and you're looking for any advice or anything to do with money, you know, Save the Student's kind of got you covered.
And is that advice, as you said, it's aimed at students, but is it only applicable to students and young people?
It's aimed at students, but I think anybody could use it. So even some of the advice on there, like I still read through now. You know, we've got some great kind of writers for the site. We've even started doing things on mortgages, you know, things about looking at your pension. I know that's quite far off for a lot of students, but you know, it's great for everyone as well as just students.
And so obviously the cost of living is such a big topic of conversation, as we've said. What would you say are your kind of top 3 pieces of advice for people trying to save money this winter?
Yeah, so I think as you touched on there, it's like winter is quite a big thing. Cost of living, we're heading towards like colder weather now. So I think the main one is energy bills. Look at how you can cut down on your energy usage. You know, this might be using energy for a few less kind of hours a day. I'm not saying freeze or kind of be cold, because that can be bad for your health. It can be bad for damp, but I think cut down where you can. I think my main advice on that one is heat the person, not the home. So think about how you can heat yourself. An electric blanket's cheaper than running the energy, or you know, sometimes getting an electric heater just for one room can be cheaper than kind of heating the whole house. The second thing I'd say is kind of learn to cook. You know, food is quite a big expense for students. So I think if you know how to cook, you know how to use things in bulk and freeze them. You know, cooking as part of a house, you know, can help you save, and you know, you can buy things in bulk as well. So that's a really big one. And then travel. Travel is a really big cost for students. So my third tip would be looking at how you can save on travel. So get yourself a rail card if you use the train a lot. You know, they're about £30 and they save you a third. So by the time you spend £90 in a year, you've kind of paid for it itself. Even getting a kind of bike, so if you can ride to uni, you know, obviously easier in the warmer months, but you know, you're going to save yourself money on bus fares, and the bike will kind of pay for itself.
So how to look on Save the Student, you guys did quite a big survey recently seeing how young people are coping with the cost of living. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you found on that?
Yeah, so I suppose quite worryingly, students are really struggling this year. We find with these student money surveys that students are always struggling year on year, but this year, you know, it's one of the first years where I've been quite worried about the situation. You know, we get a lot of students who, you know, I think close to 89% are saying they're worrying about like making ends meet. Students are kind of sending us comments saying, you know, they're having to go about eating for 2 to 3 days, which, you know, that's a horrible thought. Like, you shouldn't have to go that, not only for your own health, but in terms of studying. So I think students really are struggling, and some are looking at, you know, in the short term, going about eating, in the long term, even worse, so getting into debt, having to look at dropping out, which is a really worrying situation.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us, Jake. If you want any more information, you can visit the Save the Student website.
Thank you, Grace, for that. Salford is a host to countless comedy nights and music events. One Salford Club, however, is pushing the boundaries of comedy through a series of monthly surrealist events. Our reporter went to one of the shows to find out more.
But this is the beginning of something new. Okay? No gimmicks.
Entertainment Club is a monthly experimental comedy night at the King's Arms. Their last event of the year is Blanco y Noir. That means black and white, but the comedy is anything but.
We try and encourage artists and performers who aren't really in the mainstream and kind of between genre boundaries. We encourage them to kind of come and experiment and play around with ideas. It's people from Salford and surrounding areas mainly, but yeah, anyone's welcome.
The evening consisted of 2 live performances, accompanied by a local band, Wondrous Planet. Lauren Stern was one of the performers.
You have, like, established clubs and established styles, but, like, this is something completely different to that. And a joy to go, I could really fail and I could really, like, not make anyone laugh here and get a lot out of it still.
The night started back in 2019 and has since hosted countless comedians, artists and musicians from the fringes of the arts community.
People sometimes laugh at me when I'm just trying to have a conversation, or like, you know, like I forget what I'm saying. I just, you know, that's how my mind goes. And I think it is, it's quite freeing just to be able to just do that in front of people and sort of being on the joke.
Regeneration!
King's Arms has a long history with pushing boundaries in art. Perhaps its most daring show yet, Entertainment Club, will return next month. Brandon Charlesworth, Salford Now.
That's all for today.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.